true that there is a place in a man's head that if you shoot it, it will blow up?
Hi, Ciaran and Eoin from Shardborne, and welcome on Room 101 Radio.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
How's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad. So we were happy to know that your first album, Living Bridges, was in the box and ready for release. May you tell us first, where did you record it?
We recorded it ourselves. We did the drums in a cathedral in Limerick, and then the guys here, Ciaran and Eoin, tracked the guitars and bass at home in their studio.
And we kind of we did some extra tracks then, like some synth and keyboard stuff that we sent back and forth. Like Ben recorded some of them he works in the studio up in Galway, and we recorded some of them down in Limerick then.
Okay, so did I hear you right? You recorded some tracks in the cathedral?
Yeah,
that's right. We did the drums in a cathedral, and so once we recorded everything ourselves, we sent off the stuff to get mixed by Jamie King in North Carolina, and he's done bands like Between the Buried and Me and Scale the Summit, so kind of similar enough to music to ourselves.
Okay, so how did it come you thought about recording in a cathedral to begin with?
There used to be a rehearsal place based above kind of an old Franciscan cathedral in Limerick. It was called LCRS, it was Limerick City Rehearsal Studios. Mm-hmm. So they had a couple of rooms up there, and every now and then they'd get allowed access to the big, it was basically an unused church. So we got to record our drums in there. We spent 4 days setting up and tracking drums there. It was cool. It was a gorgeous sounding room, really epic looking as well.
Yeah.
Loads of cool artwork, and the reverb inside there was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, best drum sound. It was really good.
All right, so definitely a divine intervention on your drums there, like.
Yeah.
What are the main differences or improvements you consider important between Aeonian Sequences and this album?
I think on this album we definitely spent a lot more time before we started recording and even during recording. Like, I think when we recorded the drums the first time, it was over like a day and a half for 2 days, and that was all including setup time, and guitars and bass were all kind of probably rushed a bit more than we did this time, and we've gotten better at recording ourselves, and it's kind of made a big difference on this one. I think
we spent a considerable amount of time doing pre-production as well, demoing all the songs. We demoed some of the songs 3, maybe 4 times before we settled on a final like tempos and different arrangements and stuff like that. All
right. So much more maturity on this album than your EP, and you spend more time composing and rehearsing all the stuff, the material before going on recording. How many tracks is there on the album?
7.
Nice one, guys.
But they're all about 7 to 8 minutes long, so it's still a fairly long album.
All right, so it's self-produced, so I suppose will you be reaching labels or just keep it close to the chest and stay at home on that?
Yeah, I mean we sent it out there to a PR company to have them shop around for some labels for us, just to see if anybody's interested in working with us at all. But if no one's interested, we're still gonna put it out ourselves. It'll still be the same.
Yeah, indeed, because you are sticking to the instrumental concept on Living Bridges, so don't you find it difficult to promote, indeed?
I don't know, it can be. There's a fairly big market.
It has its pros and cons, really, because what we find is that it allows us to fit on more varied bills, because not having vocals doesn't tie us down. We end up playing sometimes on more kind of rocky bills than specifically metal ones, whereas if we had vocals, we'd probably be more tied into a genre with the vocals, whatever style they would have been. Let's say if we had heavy vocals, we'd only play metal shows. If we had lighter vocals, we probably wouldn't get to play with some of the death metal bands that we get to play with and stuff like that. So it's good that way, in that it allows us to fit on a really wide variety of shows and not seem too far out of place.
Okay, do you guys still have the 7 stringers and it was 8 strings or 6 string bass and something like that you used some?
It's pretty much all 7 strings now. 7 string guitars, 6 string bass. for all of us really. There is a little bit of 8-string on the album, but it's more just kind of layers than really the main part. So it's all the gig and stuff now is just 7 strings.
Okay, so you guys have a gig this Saturday, 31st of January in Cork in the Community Print Shop. Have you ever played there?
No, we haven't. We've played a good few places in Cork, but not there yet. So we're looking forward to it.
I think the promotion there is kind of new. They haven't been doing stuff there that long for the metal stuff, so looking forward to seeing what it's like in there.
We went there to cover an event with Fire Promotion, who promote as well this gig in Cork, and it's surprising, but it's a good ambience, and it's a bring your own beer gig, so people have a big smile when they come in.
We're looking forward to that.
We're looking forward to it. Big time.
No, do you have any other date planned soon?
Yeah, we're playing. We've got a gig in Fermanagh at the end of March, on the 27th of March, and then we've got we'll be playing the Siege of Limerick festival that like is on in Dolan's. We'll be playing that on April the 5th. Other than that, we're working on getting a show in Dublin. We've been talking to some promoters up there. Yeah.
All right. So you're just trying to manage some dates here and there. No tour scheduled.
When we have a definite release for the album, when we have a release date, we're planning on doing gigging a lot more extensively. We don't want to gig too much now, so that like when we have the album out, that we'll have loads of fresh places to play. Like we'll probably try and do play pretty much everywhere. Once the album is out, we'll do Cork, Dublin, Limerick, Belfast, everywhere we can, really.
And then once we have the album out as well, like we went over to the UK and over to Europe before, so we're gonna go back over there and try to tour more outside of Ireland with the new album.
Yeah, it's true that you already did support for great bands like Cynic and others. Do you have any other contact that you might reach to support again?
That was just kind of, we got asked to do that. So, I mean, we'd love to play with bands like that more often, but a lot of those types of bands don't actually play in Ireland that often. But when they do, we always try to make a push to, just try to play with them. Okay,
so last question, and thank you for all your answers just before, but last question is, do you have any message for your fans in Ireland, and especially for those who will attend in Cork?
Bring earplugs. Yeah.
Totally agree on that one. When you will see the room, you will say like, "Oh my God, I hope they bring earplugs indeed." Okay, Ciaran, Eoin, thank you so much for attending this interview, and wish you the best for the 31st of January in the Community Print Shop in Cork. See you, lads.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.